Some of these scooters will change the way you move through your city. One of them goes 62 miles per hour. One of them costs $299 and will break down on you in 6 months. One costs $3,800 and feels like standing on a rocket that happens to have handlebars. This year, the electric scooter market crossed $60 billion, and that means every brand, every Amazon seller, and every no-name factory in the world is competing for your money. Most of them do not deserve it. Today we are ranking every major electric scooter of 2026, from the worst to the absolute best, F tier to God tier. Stay because the last entry on this list will genuinely change what you think a scooter can be. F tier, do not touch these. Let us start at the very bottom, because this is exactly where most people get burned. Open any marketplace app right now. Scroll down to the $99 to $199 range. You will find dozens of electric scooters with flashy product photos, bold specs, and wild performance claims. 500 watts, 30 miles of range, a top speed of 25 miles per hour. Every single one of those numbers is made up. These no-name scooters lack one critical thing: UL 2272 safety certification. That certification is the gold standard for electric scooter electrical systems. It tests the battery, the wiring, and the components beneath your feet. Without it, nothing has been verified outside the factory. You are trusting a random brand with a high-voltage lithium battery while standing on top of it. The track record is not good. Battery fires from uncertified scooters have caused building evacuations and house fires across the United States and Europe. Real documented incidents happening regularly because people choose the cheapest option without asking why it is that cheap. Safety aside, these scooters lie on every spec. A motor labeled 500 watts tests at 150 watts. Range claims of 30 miles yield 7 or 8 in reality. Weight limits listed at 265 pounds result in a visibly flexing frame under a 190-pound rider. Two names belong specifically in F tier and deserve to be called out directly. The first is the Dualtron Swagger 5 Boost. In October 2024, the CPSCSC issued a direct warning telling consumers to stop using and charging this scooter immediately following 7 reports of batteries overheating, smoking, melting, or catching fire, including one that burned an apartment building in Pittsburgh. Walmart recalled nearly 18,000 units in February 2025. Dualtron remained unresponsive to CPSC requests for safety information, and the agency noted 139 separate fire or thermal incident reports across the product line. That is a pattern. The second is the Hover One Alpha. Sold at major retailers for $200 to $250, it looks legitimate, claiming 450 watts, 18 miles per hour, and 12 miles of range. Real owner reviews tell a different story. Battery failure within 2 months is a recurring complaint. Structural issues with the front wheel have been flagged repeatedly, and customer service goes silent after the return window closes. It is not a fire risk at the Dualtron level, but a scooter that consistently fails its owner with no support belongs nowhere else. F tier is not about price. It is about what happens after you buy it. D tier, you can do better. D tier scooters are real products. They work. They will not hurt you. But in 2026, the bar for what a useful adult scooter should be has risen so far that D-tier products have been left behind without a good reason to stay. The Razor adult electric scooter lineup lives here. Razor built its reputation on kids' scooters, and that reputation is completely deserved. For kids, their products are safe, fun, and approachable. But the adult-facing models have not evolved with the market. No smartphone app, no meaningful suspension for city roads, braking systems that belong on a product from 5 years ago. In 2026, any serious adult commuter scooter should carry at minimum IPX5 waterproofing, a motor above 300 watts, and real stopping confidence at 18 miles per hour. Razor adult models do not clear that line at their current prices. The GoTrax GXL version 2 also sits here, and that might surprise people because this scooter has a massive following and millions of online reviews. Here is the honest picture. The GXL version 2 runs a 250-watt motor. Top speed is 15.5 miles per hour. The claimed 12-mile range consistently tests at 7 to 10 miles in real conditions. The frame weighs only 26.5 pounds and is genuinely easy to carry, which is a real and useful advantage. Build quality is solid for the price. It holds together and does not fall apart, but the power ceiling is the wall you hit every single day. Any real hill, any meaningful headwind, or any rider above 175 pounds will feel the motor working at its maximum just to hold speed. The 220-pound weight limit is one of the tightest in any tier on this list. Cold weather cuts the range noticeably because of the small battery cell size used at this price point. For a flat campus with a 2-mile round trip, it covers the need. For city commuting with real terrain variation, frustration sets in fast. D tier is not failure. It is a category the 2026 market has simply outrun, and the next tier shows exactly how fast things improved. C tier works, but just barely. C tier scooters are average in a year when being average is harder to defend than ever before. The Xiaomi Mi 4 Pro belongs here. Xiaomi has genuine global brand recognition. Their products generally look sharp, feel solid, and hold together over time. But in 2026, NIU and Segway have pushed their mid-range options so hard on price and performance that Xiaomi is being outrun at comparable price points. If you already own a Mi 4 Pro, you are riding a good machine with no need to panic. If you are shopping new today, you will find better specs for the same money elsewhere. The Heboy S2 Max also fits C tier firmly. It runs a 500-watt motor, carries a 560 watt-hour battery, and rolls on 10-inch solid tires, around $450 on most platforms. The real assessment is this: competent and unremarkable. Every day it works. It will not fall apart. The solid tires are a genuine benefit because you never deal with a flat. But there is no suspension, no companion app, and only IPX4 splash resistance, which means light drizzle is acceptable, but anything harder and you are taking a risk. The real problem for C tier is what sits $99 above it. At $450, you are one step away from the Segway E3 Pro. For that extra $99, you get dual elastomer suspension front and rear, 10-inch tubeless tires, Apple Find My, turn signals, underdeck ambient lighting, and a scooter that earned a CNET Editor's Choice Award. When the gap between your current option and a noticeably better one is that small, C tier becomes genuinely hard to justify, not bad scooters. Just scooters that the 2026 market has outpaced. But here is where the list gets genuinely interesting. B tier, solid rides worth your money. B tier is where the fun starts and real commuter confidence begins. The Segway E3 Pro at $549 opens this tier. CNET gave it an 8.3 out of 10 and their full Editor's Choice designation, specifically calling it the best entry-level electric scooter for commuters. It ships with 10-inch tubeless tires that handle cracks and broken pavement far better than solid tires. Dual elastomer suspension smooths out city streets from both ends. Apple Find My is built in. Turn signals come standard. 256 RGB ambient lights run under the deck. The 34-mile eco range is ambitious. Real-world riding hits closer to 15 miles. For most daily commutes under 7 miles each way, 15 honest miles is more than enough to get you there and back. And this is a Segway, which means the build and long-term reliability are backed by the most recognized name in the whole category. The VMAX VX2 hub deserves a serious spotlight because most people have never heard of this brand. While every competitor at this price range was following the industry trend of bigger motors with modest batteries, VMAX went the opposite direction entirely. They packed an 874 watt-hour battery into this machine. That is a massive power cell for this price tier. Real-world testers recorded 35.6 miles of range, which was more than 10 miles ahead of every comparable scooter in its section. Top speed is 33.5 miles per hour. 0 to 15 miles per hour happens in 2.9 seconds. The 1,900-watt peak motor handles hills without dropping pace. Front hydraulic and rear elastomer suspension keep the ride smooth and stable. The only real cost is weight. At 57 pounds, this is the heaviest commuter in B tier, and every extra pound is from the battery. If you lift your scooter onto buses or carry it upstairs daily, this is not your machine. But if your commute is flat and you want to charge on your schedule rather than every night without fail, the VMAX VX2 hub solves a problem no one else at this price is solving. The Kaabo Mantis King GT rounds out B tier at around $1,799. Kaabo sits directly behind Dualtron in the high-performance scooter community, and the Mantis King GT is their bridge product for riders who want serious dual motor power and real off-road handling without crossing into hyperscooter pricing. Mixed terrain, trail riding, aggressive city routes. If you want a scooter that does not hesitate at anything beneath it, this is your entry point into the Kaabo lineup. B tier is genuinely excellent. But A tier is where the dollars start making the most sense per experience gained. a tier. The sweet spot of tier is where value and performance reach their highest point together. Both options here represent what the 2026 market does at its absolute best for most riders. The NIU KQi3 Max at $799 to $899 is one of the most quietly impressive scooters on this entire list. NIU has been building electric vehicles for the Asian market for years, and when they brought the kick scooter lineup to the United States, they brought real hardware. The KQi3 Max runs a 450-watt nominal motor peaking at 900 watts. Top speed is 23.6 miles per hour. The 608 watt-hour battery gives an advertised 40.4 miles, with real sport mode riding landing around 23 honest miles. That is a strong real-world number for this price. What completely separates it from every competitor under $1,000 is the dual mechanical disc brakes, painted red, which stop the scooter with a speed and confidence that testers consistently describe as overkill in the best possible way. NIU also refreshed their lineup in 2025 with the KQi 200P at $649. Top speed bumped to 19.5 miles per hour, with range improved to 32 miles and dual-tube suspension now standard across the line. If $799 is a stretch right now, the 200P is the sharpest value move NIU has made in years. The Apollo City Pro is the high end of A tier. Dual motors combine for 1,000 watts nominal power. GPS verified top speed of 32.3 miles per hour, confirmed with a real test rider at 175 pounds under standardized conditions. The scooter holds that speed without any wobble or instability, completely planted through the whole speed range. Load capacity is 265 pounds. Apollo built this scooter using years of real ride data and direct rider feedback, and that process is visible in how it behaves on the road. The Apollo City 2.0 at $1,299 adds a 1,200 watt motor peaking at 1,900 watts, IP66 full waterproofing, and AI-powered range optimization that actively adjusts how the system draws power based on your riding patterns. A tier is where most serious riders land and stay comfortable, but two scooters this year pushed past it entirely. Is tier, the best scooters you can actually buy. This tier in 2026 belongs to the scooter that reset the entire commuter conversation. The Segway Max G3 is the most discussed commuter scooter released this year, and nothing is close to touching that conversation. When Segway went from the G2 to the G3, they did not patch the old model. They rebuilt everything. Peak motor output doubled from 1,000 to 2,000 watts. Top speed moved from 22 to 28 miles per hour. One disc brake became two. Tires grew from 10 to 11 inches with self-sealing tubeless construction that eliminates most flat scenarios completely. Water resistance upgraded from IPX5 to IPX6. A full-color TFT display replaced the old LED panel. Airlock hands-free Bluetooth unlocking, Apple Find My, Segride stability control, and 4 riding modes from walking pace to full 28 mile per hour sport all ship standard. The base battery delivers 50 miles in eco conditions. Real-world faster riding lands between 25 and 35 miles, depending on terrain. And Segway built an external battery pack that mounts directly to the stem, pushing total available range to 75 miles. A commuter scooter with 75 miles of real range available. Full charge in 3.5 hours, down to 2.5 with dual input charging. Weight is 54.2 pounds, and it handles 30% inclines without complaint. Long-term testers consistently describe it as a machine built to last years without needing constant maintenance. Across every major electric scooter community, real riders have placed it as the standard every other commuter is being judged against in 2026. Nothing at its price level matches its combination of range, smart features, ride quality, and long-term build confidence. S tier is where most serious buyers should end their search. But we made a promise at the beginning of this video, and we are not walking away from it. God tier, these are not normal scooters. This tier needs a different framing. These are not commuter scooters with upgraded specs. They are machines built at the absolute outer edge of what a standing kick scooter is legally allowed to be. Most of the people who buy these scooters did not start here. They started in B tier or A tier, pushed the limits of what they had, then started researching what sat above it. They found God tier and they could not look away. That is not unusual. These machines have a pull on a specific type of rider, and once you understand what they are capable of, the rest of the market starts to feel like a different product category entirely. The Kaabo Wolf King GT Pro costs $3,799 and reaches 62 miles per hour, 0 to 30 miles per hour in 3.8 seconds. New 50-amp sine wave controllers made that acceleration 29% faster than the previous Wolf GT. There is a 4.2-inch full-color TFT display for customizing controller behavior, tuning regenerative braking response, and monitoring live temperature data from both motor controllers while you ride. Every tester who has ridden this machine at full speed describes a moment where it stops feeling like a scooter. That moment is real, and it happens fast. The Dualtron Storm Limited is the most extreme consumer scooter ever produced. 11,500 watts of peak power, 84-volt system, a 45 amp-hour LG cell battery, 70 miles per hour on private land. 4-piston hydraulic brakes because standard brakes cannot physically generate the stopping force this machine requires. This is not personal transportation. It is an engineering statement about what the category can become when there are no conservative decisions left in the design process. The NAMI Burn-E 2 Max is the precision end of God tier. Real-world tested at just under 60 miles per hour. IP55 water resistance, meaning it handles sustained low-pressure water jets with confidence, though it is not built for submersion. Motorcycle-grade, hand-welded tubular frame construction. More than 60 miles of real range while maintaining high speeds. The riding community places it among the most serious machines in the entire kick scooter category. It is built for the rider who wants extreme speed and the range to use it on long routes, not just a parking lot sprint. None of these are for commuting. They exist at the outer edge of what is physically possible on two wheels before a different vehicle category is required. If you watch footage of someone on any of these at full throttle, your brain will still be deciding whether what you just saw was actually a scooter. Conclusion: that is the complete 2026 electric scooter tier list. From the ones that could genuinely start a fire, all the way to machines that belong on a closed course. If you are buying your first scooter this year, the Segway E3 Pro at $149 in B tier is the honest and smart starting point. If you want the best commuter scooter on the market right now, with no competition anywhere near it, the Segway Max G3 in S tier is the answer. And if you looked at God tier and felt something that should probably concern you, you already know which one has your name on it. One last thing. The electric scooter market is moving faster than almost any other personal vehicle category right now. What is S tier today could be A tier in 18 months. So if you are on the fence about upgrading, the window for the current S tier pricing is probably not going to stay open long.